Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice, because today is another episode of Frightful Fridays, in which I will be reviewing a movie called Halloween Party. Came out in 2020. It is on Peacock, where I watched it, and it's also on Prime. You'd think a horror movie with the name Halloween Party would be about a Halloween party. You'd be wrong. I'll give you the kind of the breakdown of this movie first. We have these two young ladies in their college dorm room. One is the woman who lives there, and the other is her friend who is visiting. Of course, they've got the frat boys, coming over to visit and all that stuff. And a little GIF, whatever message comes up on the screen saying, hello, whatever the woman's name is, what is your greatest fear? And I guess it's something that's been sent to some of the other people around, and you have like a few seconds to answer it. And if you don't answer it, some witch comes up and all that. But you're supposed to tell the truth. And you see what we think is the main character answering that, and she puts in a couple of answers and it doesn't take it, and then she answers it. It's pigs. And a little bit later, she goes to work and is attacked by pig creatures and axed, figuratively. Alright, so the rest of the movie focuses on her friend trying to figure out what happened, to where these messages are coming from, and dealing with looking into it, and then things happening with her. So she teams up with this little kind of this geeky IT guy. And of course, anyone in these movies, any of the people who do IT, computer stuff, is a little dorky nerd. And so there's kind of the suspense of looking into where these things are coming from, how they know, who is in the room, because it's addressed to whoever is in the room at the time, and how do they know whether it is the person telling the truth, and then how these people are being killed by said greatest fear. And there is a connection to the title of Halloween Party, but it's not what you think. It's about an hour and a half long. there is kind of an interesting way they do this. I mean, I think we've seen movies like this before where you get a computer message and you know, there's a killer behind it. Who or what, I should say, behind it is something I haven't seen before, so it's new to me. It's different. Not that scary. And that's just the thing with this movie, is it's kind of slow paced with a couple of attempts at suspense. The kills, you know, one of the aspects about a horror movie is you have to have good kills. That's just, there's certain things you have in horror movies that boxes you need to be checked, and a good kill is one of them, and that is something this one lacks. It is R-rated, so you could, you're able to have some good, quality kills, and this one just doesn't seem to have it. And when there is some suspense to it, with the, whoever is being stalked, whoever's being going after, it doesn't seem to have that suspense, life or death feel to it like you would in, some of these other movies, some of the classics. And of course, when I say life or death, you know that, this person is going to get it. And it doesn't really have that. I mean, they do, obviously people are going to get it. But it's just, there's not that big of a suspense to it. That kind of excitement. I mean, there were some, don't get me wrong, there are some, it is interesting enough to have kept me watching. It didn't, make me watch it in segments, like, okay, I gotta, I'm gonna come back to this, because it's hard to watch, but it wasn't, yeah, type of thing where you get, when you're watching some of the classics, like, say, Hatchet. The two central characters are a bit simplistic. You have the girl who's supposed to be the kind of a popular one, and she realized she's just one that realizes that this geek kid is, even though he's a geek, she's she understands him, and she's getting some. She's realizing, hey, this guy's not that bad, and the geek guy, he has some good qualities to him, and they start to develop a friendship, and they even have a little side plot in here as to, like in some movies, and this is a quote, are they gonna fuck or not? Is when you watch a movie, that's the plot of a lot of movies, is whether the two characters are or not going to bone, and so they heavily implying that is something that is one of the plot points of this movie, and it sort of is. I'm not going to, let you know whether or not they do or not. But this movie is kind of formulaic in the less interesting way. I mean, all horror, I did mention this earlier, that, all horror movies are kind of formulaic because they have, like I said, there's certain things that you have to have in a horror movie in order for it to be a great horror movie, or even a horror movie. And this one, has those things, but they aren't done super well. They aren't done badly, but they aren't done super well either. They just kind of happen, and there's the typical just bad decisions thing that you're just like, seriously? Oh, a bad guy is on the top of your car, on the top. Instead of just stepping on the gas and driving off and, having the thing fall off, you get out of the car and run. Why? Just pop the thing into gear and the person's going to go flying off your car, and you can get away that way instead of trying to run and then going into the one place you're not supposed to go. When you're on a college campus, you can go 800 different directions, but you go to the one place that you know where they come from. I mean, it's just like, dude, please, really seriously, can we not do this stupid shit? But that is, again, kind of a formulaic way of having to do it, and I understand that. But I just like, for once, to have someone do it a little differently. One of the kind of good things is when the ending happened, it's like, okay, that's, that, you sort of saw it coming. And it's like, why? But then they do a little bit of a change up on it, which I thought was kind of cool. Which kind of, but that's just the last couple of minutes, and it kind of saves the movie a tad to keep it in the, it was worth it zone, instead of the, fuck, what did I waste my time for zone. So, I'm just going to say it's, the acting was passable, the story was passable. It's not to the point where you're going to just sit there and say, don't watch it, or, or I'm going to say that. I'm going to say watch it if, there's nothing else you can watch at the moment, or you just want something you don't really super need to pay attention to, or, you can keep it on in the background and, while you're doing something else, and you don't need to pay close attention to follow, and still have a, kind of a good time. I'm going to give it a 3.25 out of 5. And say, yeah, that's the best I can give it. I'm not going to pat it, I'm not going to say don't, but I'm not going to give it a high recommendation. But anyway, let me know what you thought of it if you watched it. Do you agree with me or not? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, most of all. Enjoy your horror movies, especially this time of year.